Mud and Blood plays Coriolis. This is episode 8 of our ongoing campaign, Fear and Loathing in the Third Horizon. I'm your GM, Matt, and I'm joined, as always, by our 3 players.
My name is Adam Atley. I play Kalia Al-Rufai, an arsehole.
I am Charlotte. I play Luna, and I take in strays.
And I'm Nathan, playing Xanafar Il-Kadif. He's the ship's scientist, technician, engineer, and currently happy to be back in a spaceport and can't wait to get back on board his vessel.
Okay, so we're picking up from last week. I'll do a quick recap. You were down on Jana at the radiation spires, which is where your mission was taking you. You met your contact, Samira, who effectively wanted to leave when she saw that you were kind of there unofficially and had assaulted her colleague Assam, realized that there was no way she could stay there, and you managed, without any extra violence, to extract yourselves from the facility and are now back on your ship. On the way back to your ship, you managed to convince Samira to tell you what her message was, and the message was that the radiation spires pulse at various times when they are pointing at the gas giant in this system, the gas giant called Jibri, and they only bursted with radiation when Jibri's cold spot was pointing towards the planet of Jana. Less than a cycle ago, there was a massive burst of radiation, abnormally large, and it managed to kill a number of scientists based at that research station. And that happened to coincide with the same day that the emissaries arrived in the Third Horizon. The emissaries being some mysterious beings who claim to be the icons made flesh. So that's where we left it. You managed to leave the planet of Jana without incident. You've resupplied your ship, or you've bought supplies to resupply your ship down on the surface, and you are now arrived back on the One for Sorrow, your big ship. Before we go back into the game, we want to do, I need to discuss experience points with you, because we've neglected to do that for a number of sessions, and this is kind of important. So the first thing to do is to jump back to the last event that happened that you should have been awarded experience for, and that was the pirate ship attacking you. I do all the things that I had prepped for, experience I had prepped for, but on the basis that you were able to disable the pirate ship without taking any damage, able to take out one pirate on board their own ship, make it back to your own ship, and kill the second pirate who had made his way on board. I'm going to be awarding 4 experience points for that encounter to each of you. Okay? You had previously already had 3 experience points from earlier in the campaign, so that brings your total after the pirate ship encounter to 7 experience points. And I'm now going to award you an additional 3 experience points for recovering Samira and making it back to the ship. So that means in total, all of you now have 10 experience points. Don't worry about spending them just yet. You can have a little think about what you want to do. We can talk about how you want to level those up, but you need a period of downtime to be able to do that. And that's going to be, you're on your ship now, so theoretically, as you're traveling, you can decide what you want to do. So we'll do that after you're underway. Okay? Everyone happy with that?
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay, so you've made it back on the ship, and I guess, yeah, just tell me what you want to do as you made your way back on the ship.
Xanafar is definitely going to do a diagnostic over the reactor and stow all the supplies and kind of do like ship maintenance type of things for this first day.
Okay.
Are we going to give Samira a cabin, or are we going to put her on ice? I'm okay with giving her a cabin.
I think the boat's big enough for a cabin.
Fine with me.
You have 1 spare stasis bed that is in the suite that all of they're actually called suites themselves. You have 5 deluxe cabins, which are called suites. And they're kind of arranged in a kind of circle around each other with a common room in the middle, and that common room has 5 stasis beds. And there's 1 spare stasis bed, 2, I think. Yeah, sorry. There are 2 spare stasis beds and 2 spare suites on the ship. All of your other stasis beds are full of people that you're transporting back to Dabran. But yeah, effectively there is a spare suite for her if you want her to be able to stay in one.
Okay, well, I would go around to the other two asking their opinions, see what they want to do with her. And then once we get a consensus, then I will approach her and ask her what she wants to do. Because she very well might want to go and have a nap for a while.
She's more than happy to have a suite. She doesn't want to go into stasis.
Kalia's stance is that the poor girl's given up her entire life. The least we can do is give her a proper bed.
Okay, so is Xanathar on board with that as well?
Yep, sounds good with him.
Okay, I'll go approach her and let her know that we'll get a room set up for her and take her to it and let her relax for a little bit. Once that's taken care of and she gets settled in, I'll go take a look around the other cryopods just to make sure everything is secured in there, remembering back to the weird noises I heard before.
Okay. You're doing all this as, I guess, Kalia and Luna, you're making your way from the kind of hangar section of the ship to the main section where the cabins, the stasis pods, the bridge, all them are located. She kind of, as you mentioned that you're happy for her to have a room, she thanks you, Danya, and then she says, "I've been thinking on the flight up from Jana that maybe it's not best if we go straight back to Dabaran and to Ayan. We're already here in the Melik system. We know what's happened with the radiation spires. We're already halfway from the sun here to Jibri. Why did we just go and see what's happening at Jibri before we leave? I have to admit, my scientific curiosity is definitely the motivating factor here. It might not be the wisest course of action, but it's one that I think might make most sense. It would take weeks if we were to leave here, go back to Dabran, and then potentially return."
Kalia is well on board with this. She's going to say, I must say, professional curiosity also would have me check out Jibri, so I'm all for it.
Luna, you're there with both Samira and Kalia. What do you say to it?
I would sit with that for a moment and basically look at Kalia and saying, if we get more information, then we could possibly wring some more money out of this kid. So yes, I'm on board.
Okay. Well, you'll need to, I guess, run it by Xanathar as well, but you then drop her off at her suite where she can kind of make herself comfortable. We kind of forgot to do that, but she did want to pick up her belongings in the city before you left. So we can just quickly say that the van stopped quickly at her. She was able to quickly pack a bag and come back. So she's got her effects with her in kind of a duffel bag type of thing.
Does she pick up on my line about professional curiosity?
No, she doesn't. Mm-mm.
Cool.
Okay. Bearing in mind it's also evening here on Jana, it's probably time for you all to, you're all probably due sleep as well. Do you want to just, before that happens, do you just want to tell me what you want to do? Like, speak with Nathan, Xanathar as well. Then we can talk about spending experience points and all that kind of stuff.
Sure, yeah, we'll run it by Xanathar, see what he says, and go have a nap.
Yeah, he's kind of easy with whatever. He's just glad to be back in space and have a ship to fiddle and tinker with. And he doesn't seem concerned by adding one more human to the ship, so...
You're okay with this trip to Jibri as well, right?
Yeah. Yes. Why not?
Okay, so you're heading towards Jibri, which is so you're in orbit around Jana, which is the second planet in the Melik system. Jibri is the fourth planet, so there's a third planet called Kalsam between Jana and Jibri. And it's going to take it's 7 astronomical units away from Jana, which is 7 days of traveling. So it's going to take you a full week to travel from where you are now to travel to Jibri. So you get started, and we're going to kind of take a step out of the narrative for a bit here. We're going to kind of move the plot along to say that you're at least several days into the journey towards Jibri, when you have time to improve yourselves, to reflect on what you've done in the game and potentially buy some, level up your characters, advance your characters, I should say. The costs are very simple for advancing. It costs you 5 experience points to advance either a skill or to buy a new talent.
Okay.
You can also, you don't have to spend them now. You can hoard them and use them for something later if you want, or like keep 5 of them put to one side.
Could I go?
Sure. What do you want to do?
So I have used ranged, and I've used manipulation, and I would be happy with using my 10 points to go up 1 in each, if that is how it works.
Yep. So you used your ranged in the pirate ship, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And manipulation, you've done a lot of manipulation, so...
I've manipulated the shit out of this universe.
Yep, I'm happy with that. So your manipulation is now 4, your range is now 2, and you have no... so your current experience is down to 0. Luna or Xanathar, either of you knowing what you want to spend it on?
Yeah, I was thinking about adding a point each to my melee and dexterity. Melee, I could justify that as knocking someone out. It's still kind of melee combat to try and get in with someone and choke them. Dexterity, I feel, even though I didn't have points in there to begin with, that's something that she would have. It could be something as simple as just repetitively practicing loading cartridges into a magazine.
Okay, so yep, you've taken 1 point each in melee and dexterity, bringing each of those up to 1. And Xanathar?
Well, I've been piloting the shuttle and the ship, and also did some data gen hacking, so I think I'll just dump a point into data gen and pilot.
So that brings your data gen up to 2 and your piloting up to 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice and simple. Okay. You spend this trip towards Jibri by kind of reflecting on what you've done and doing a little bit of practice just to make sure that you're learning from the your previous experiences. That's fine. Excellent. So you are now en route towards Jibri. You probably have a couple of days left before you're arriving. Let's say you're 2 days out. And any of you want to kind of pause it there and ask if any of you want to do anything.
I would like to heal that one last point of damage.
Sure. All of you have healed all of your mind points and hit points.
I just want to soak my feet like an auntie.
Okay.
Auntie Munira is going to soak her feet.
For a week.
Yes.
They're going to be...
You heard.
They're going to be prunes.
So now, in the spirit of no free rides, can we get Samira trained up on sensors in case something were to happen?
It might be better to have somebody do piloting. It might be better to have Xanathar be the pilot and for her to do the engineering, because she's, being a scientist, she's also quite good at technology, and she can't pilot. So that would remove the ship AI from doing piloting roles, because the ship AI is pretty crap at that. That'd probably be the best usage of her skill set. I don't know how Xanathar would feel about that.
Yeah, he's fine with that.
Okay, so you kind of show her how the ship's engineering systems work and how you kind of redirect energy points around the ship if you need to, that sort of thing. And it's, she's a very highly trained scientist. It doesn't take her very long at all to figure out how it all works. So we'll just pass the time a little bit further on. You go past the planet of Kalsam after 2 days. You don't actually go anywhere near the planet. Its orbit around the star here in Melik is, you're not traveling on a 2-dimensional plane where all the planets are always lined up directly, one in a line with each other. So Kalsam is nowhere near your vector between Jana and Jibri. It's on the other side of the star. So there's nothing to take you to the planet of Kalsam necessarily. You pass by its orbit trajectory, and then 5 days later, you start to approach the planet of Jibri, the gas giant Jibri. And I'll just give you a little bit of information about Jibri. Jibri is about the size of our planet Saturn, if that means anything to any of you. It has 11 moons in orbit around it, as well as a station. The station is called Hormus Station. The population on this station, it's a fairly large station. It's got a population of about 1,800 people. That's the official kind of Wikipedia stats you're looking up on the Infonet. And there's a little bit of history with the Nomad Federation on this station. It originally was a Nomad station, and the consortium has, in recent times, occupied it. And that's kind of all you kind of find out about it. Okay?
What would our standing be with the Nomad Federation? Would they be accepting to us entering near their station?
So the station is officially run by the consortium now. It has been for about a decade or so. Actually, probably a little bit less than that. But for at least a number of years, it's been officially under the jurisdiction of the consortium. It's just started life as a nomad station. So you don't know the details of how it changed hands or anything like that. The Nomad Federation is neutral towards you guys. Kalia did mention at the beginning of this campaign that she was going to spend her time in her cabin watching a holovid of her previous journalistic forays, right? And she mentioned one of them was a piece that she did with the nomads here in the system. And my understanding is, and you also said it was like a well-received or maybe even an award-winning piece.
It was epochal.
So they're probably, when they know that it's Kalia involved, obviously this ship is new, the one for Sorrow is new, they won't recognize it. But Kalia probably is probably a little bit more on the good side of the nomads than the bad side. So, you are in the one for Sorrow, you're approaching the planet of Jibri. You can see it kind of on your sensors, you can see it on your viewport, magnified so you can see what it looks like. It's a blue gas giant, swirling blue clouds visible on the surface, and there is a spot similar to how Jupiter has a spot on one part of the gas giant, which is very dark, like a dark gray or black color. You want to head towards the station? Do you want to head somewhere else? You realize that there's also a moon that has a base on it, one of the 11 moons. The moon is called Mukifa. And in fact, it is, Samaria informs you that she's not 100% sure, but she believes that the moon has a research station, that base is a research station, but she could be wrong. You can't find any mention of it on the Infinite other than that it just mentions that there is a small base on Mukifa.
I think Xanathar has plotted a course for the space station.
Okay.
Unless told to do otherwise.
Sure.
I don't know, how do we find out more information about this black spot? How do we sate their curiosity, professional or scientific?
Probably going to be a case of finding scientists who are already based here and trying to somehow get the information out of them, either by stealing it or manipulating them or whatever, right?
Manipulation and stealing, just what we're good at.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah. Okay, so you head towards the station. As you get close to it in the One for Sorrow, they hail you and ask,
One for Sorrow, this is the Horma station. Please identify your reason for coming here.
Would you accept that we are on holiday?
Probably not.
Very well. I'm glad I didn't go with that. I say to them, I'm blanking a little bit. What's credible? Guys, any ideas?
I don't know. We can say that we're doing research. Just gonna do a orbit and collect some data about the spot or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's Charlotte. Was that your idea?
Yeah, we can go something along those lines. Just advertising ourselves as as freelance journalists, and we heard that there was something going on with this spot or whatever, and we want to check it out.
Yes, we're just we're some freelance news hounds, just doing a little reconnoiter of the area, just to see if there is anything that might, pad out a destination of note article.
Am I being recorded right now?
No, not at all.
Oh. Are you at the Bulletin?
We have done work for the Bulletin, certainly.
Oh. Well,
you're actually speaking to Kalia Al-Rufai, if that means anything.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I don't recognize you. I'll look you up before you get here. Definitely. Let me be the first to say Lanbik, and please make your way to Port D.
Samati.
do you want to hop on the shuttle and make your way over to the station?
Yeah.
You're all coming along, right?
Yeah, Xanathar definitely is.
Yeah, I guess.
I stand at the threshold, clap my hands, and say, family outing.
Okay. Samira's coming with you too. And I guess it takes you, okay, so we'll say about 30 minutes to an hour later, you are docked with the Hormus station. The airlock cycles and then opens, and instantly you're hit by the smell of spices. There's a smell of what you think is cinnamon and cardamom on the air.
Mm-hmm.
You're also struck by the fact that, unlike most stations you've been on, this one, the lighting is a little bit dimmer than you would expect. It doesn't have like really harsh kind of fluorescent lighting that you would normally expect to see in most stations and that sort of thing. It's quite a glowing dim light, and you notice that there are carpets on the floor as it opens, and you get this feeling of warmth and comfort, as if you were down in a bazaar in a planet in a big city. There's also you can hear people talking, you can hear voices coming down the corridors, and there's a light sound of music. It's the tune of a sira, which is a type of stringed instrument, drifting gently along the corridors. You also see two people standing directly in front of the airlock, broad smiles on their faces. And you can tell by what they're wearing that these are not consortium people, these are nomads. One of them is wearing a very fancy galabeya, which is a long robe, and the other one is wearing a kurta, which is a long shirt. But they are very elaborately embroidered, very colorful, and you can also tell by the way their hair is, etc., that these are nomads, traditional nomads. And one of them steps forward, and in a deep booming voice he says, "Azul!" And he spreads his arms out as if expecting a hug, looking directly at you, Kalia.
I'm game. I throw my... what does Azul mean, please?
It means hello in the nomad dialect.
And Azul to you too, my friend. And I spread my arms open and wrap him in a boisterous embrace.
You get a bear hug from this man.
Much slapping of backs.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Juma Yatim, and I just cannot believe that you are back. Kalia al-Rofai.
Kalia stands up at about 3 feet straighter.
The piece you did about our people was nothing short of glorious. You are forever in our debt. Anything we can do to make your stay here on Hormus Station more pleasant, just say the word.
I place the palms of my hand on his refulgent jowls and bring my face very close to his. And it's like, you have no idea.
No, I don't.
How galvanizing it is to hear anyone, say that kind of thing to me at this particular time. May the icons bless you and keep you, you beautiful, beautiful organism.
I'm just going to shake my head, turn around, and walk a few steps behind them.
Okay. The second person who hasn't hugged you, Kalia, steps forward. She introduces herself as Aliyah Fayed, and
Aliyah, Kalia, and I gather her into a rough embrace as well.
Ah, yes. Our names are very similar, very true. Azul to you, Kalia.
Azul.
And to you as well. What are your names, please? You do introductions, I guess. And they basically escort you through the corridors and take you to the main trade area. Think of it like a food court in a mall. There's a big open area with some stalls set up. There's people cooking, all sorts of smells going around. And this station isn't like typical stations that you've been in. This area has a massive domed ceiling, and it's been painted in bright blue colors, and there must be some sort of lights behind the ceiling panels. It glows like it's daytime on a planet. And yeah, they take you to a tea house where they sit you down and order chai for everyone. Chai being spiced tea.
So, Kalia, tell me, what is it you're here for?
I'm inclined to just they buttered me up so much. I'm inclined to just sort of give them the broad outline of what it is that's brought us here. The sort of the anomalies noticed by the research station. Chasing down the nature of this thing. A hint, sort of elliptically, that it may have something to do with the emissaries.
Okay. Point of order, Xanathar, are you recording this with the camera?
Yeah, sure. I think he's definitely trying to take pains to keep the camera between himself and the hugging people. He doesn't want people to touch him.
Sure.
I'm not here.
And Luna, are you just kind of hovering?
I am sitting there drinking my tea, which is really damn good.
Okay.
And that's the tea.
Okay. You give a brief outline of why you're here. You're interested in the cold spot, and that you're interested to find out if there's any research that's been going on about it, etc.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that Juma starts nodding as you talk about the cold spot. And then when you mention, you kind of name drop the emissaries, and he instantly tenses and then glances around.
Oh, maybe we shouldn't be talking about this here. Why don't you finish your chai? Just relax here for a bit,
And then he points his way down a corridor that's kind of on the other side of this room that you're in, this big room.
Mm-hmm.
If you go down that corridor and take the second left, you'll see a door on your right. It has a tapestry of a desert scene hanging on it. You can't miss it. I will be waiting for you there. Don't mention any of this to anyone else on the station while you're here, please. Just finish your chai. I've paid for it already. Take your time, and then come meet me there. We'll talk more about this.
Okay. There, I have Kalia senses an energy change here. I would like to use my talent of lie detector
Okay. Yep.
to get into a manipulation role, sense if they are lying or misrepresenting the situation. I'll need to just sort of gently. I feel like we've established that this is the relationship we've got, but I place my hand on his wrist, establishing contact with him.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you place your hand on it, and we're going to do an opposed manipulation roll. So your lie detector gives you a +2 to this.
Mm-hmm.
You've just plugged a point of experience, 5 points of experience into bumping that up to 4.
Mm-hmm.
So your base starting pool is 9 dice for manipulating. You get a +2 for your talent, which brings you to 11. And then I'm just looking at reputation differences. You both have a reputation of 5, so you don't get any additional bonuses, and there's no penalties for reputation here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you just roll 11 dice against this person is going to be rolling 8.
I have rolled for 1 success out of that 11.
Bear with me 1 second, because I'm just going to quickly check the wording of that talent, because it makes more sense that this wouldn't be an opposed roll. This would just be a manipulation roll to figure out if somebody's lying to you. Okay, so it says to use it on someone, you must touch them, speak to them, and look them in the eyes. Test manipulation with a +2, not an opposed roll. So you've rolled the 11 dice, so you've got 1 success, which is the right roll to make.
Do you need to take anything again?
Nope, that's fine.
All right.
So you're able to tell with your cybernetic lie detector. It basically tells you that this person is not lying.
Okay, cool. Better safe than sorry.
And of course, they're not aware that you've just done that either.
Mm-hmm.
So he and Aaliyah get up and go down that corridor they just mentioned to you, and you drink your tea. Anything you want to do before anything else happens?
Not me. I begin to just sort of follow his directions as soon as possible.
Okay. Same. Luna and Xanathar, do you want to also go along, or do you want to do anything else?
No, I'm ready to go along.
Yeah, I think Xanathar will just tag along with taking care of the camera and stuff as needed.
Okay. So you do that. You go down the corridor. Nothing happens. You don't come across anyone. You do notice as you're getting up from the chai stall, you notice some people that are distinctly not nomads. They look more kind of like business people, in kind of clustered around another stall that sells some kind of food. And they're not really looking at you or doing anything like that. But otherwise, this is a fairly bustling area. You notice that they're the only consortium people you've seen. Everyone else seems to be nomad. You then make your way down the corridor to that room. There's a little like doorbell type of thing on it, like a control panel where you can buzz somebody, and they let you inside straight away. And inside there's a kind of a small room. It's not particularly luxurious in terms of how big it is, but they do have wall hangings everywhere, carpets on the floor, there's incense burning in one corner, and they have some mattresses. They're more like sofas that you sit on, but lying on the floor with cushions around them. And Juma gestures down and lays himself down on the floor on one of these cushions. And so does Leah.
It's like being back at uni.
So you sit yourselves down, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a place like opposite them, like a different side of the room or corridor or something?
Yeah, you could sit opposite them.
Yeah.
In fact, they're sitting next to each other, and there's space. It's almost like they want you to sit opposite them.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to remain standing, just right behind Kalia.
Okay, no problem.
I'm gonna flick my gaze over to where Xanathar is sort of edging away. As like you can come across as over keen, Zanny.
Okay. He doesn't respond, I guess, and you sit yourself down.
Yep.
Okay. As you kind of set yourselves down, Juma sits forward again and says,
You mentioned the emissaries. Well, it's interesting because somebody came here not long ago claiming to be one of the emissaries. Now, many of us don't know how to take this person. Anyway, this emissary was here for a number of days, and then they left. I believe they went to the moon, Mukifa, where there is a consortium base, a research base. The rumors are that they are doing research on the Jibri spot there at the base, which is, I think, what you're interested in anyway, is it not?
It is. Is Samira going to pipe up at any point?
Samira just kind of goes along with the conversation as he's talking. She's looking more and more interested, more animated as he's mentioning that the emissary was here. She seems interested in that piece of information, but not overly interested. She's much more interested when he says that they have a research station on the moon.
Kalia says, is there anything to made you doubt the veracity of his claim? Were you able to verify it for yourselves? Was anything said or done or seen that might go against the story of this individual?
Well, we've all heard the rumors that the emissary on Coriolis is claiming to be the judge made flesh. This emissary did not do any miracles when he was here. He did not try and convince anyone that he was an icon made flesh. We saw him walking around the station, speaking with some of the consortium fellows in charge. And none of us really approached him because we did not know what to make of him. In fact, most of us were waiting to see to see what he would do. Was he going to try and do some miracles? Was he going to try and establish himself as an icon here on Hormuz? Well, none of us know, because a few days later, as I said, he left. It was very strange.
He didn't do anything in the end. He just hung out.
It was announced to us by the consortium that one of the emissaries was coming, and then this fellow arrived. He looked like a normal person, and then, after a few days, he left.
You could see his features?
Oh, yes.
He looked human?
Yes, indeed.
Could you describe him?
Oh, I would say middle-aged, graying hair at the temples, and wearing a black kaftan. Nothing to... If no one had said that he was an emissary, I would not have thought him any different to any other Zenithian.
It's interesting that you mentioned the kaftan specifically. Did you ever see him without it? Was it very tightly bound around his neck? Do you think it might have concealed anything?
The kaftan in this setting is a jacket.
Oh, is it? Oh, sorry, I got that confused.
No, it's okay.
He was always wearing the kaftan, yes.
That's not unusual. But we did not see him wearing anything else. He did not change. He didn't have it off. It was always on. Again, nothing unusual about that.
I have my tabula on my lap, and I briefly turn to it, write the word coat, ! Question mark, and then underline it 8 times.
I want to ask him if he has any contacts down at the research station. Anybody that can help get us onto the surface.
Unfortunately, while here on Hormuz, we nomads are in the majority.
Down on the moon at the research space, it's all consortium. We're not allowed there. We're not welcome there. However, there are plenty of consortium people here on the station, and definitely some of them will have connections with the base. So I would suggest you try and speak to some of these consortium fellows. And...
Do any of them have a gambling debt to you?
Indeed. Not to me personally, but there is one fellow who has a weakness for the dice. I'll put you in touch with him, shall I?
That would be perfect.
Okay, his name is Bassam Wahid.
Oh, unlucky Bassam.
How are your dice skills, Kalia?
My what?
your dice skills?
As anyone listening to this knows, dreadful.
I've been editing out a lot of the dice rolling, so they won't necessarily be aware, but
Okay.
yeah, it's all good. Okay, so I guess he basically is happy to point you in the direction of where you can find Bassam, which he tells you the first place you should look is I'm trying to think what a casino would be called. It's not really a casino, it's more like a gambling den / hookah bar back in the main area, which is where people usually play cards or dice or whatever.
The Welching Weasel, and there's a neon sign of a cartoon weasel running away from debt collectors.
It's officially canon. The Welching, I'm writing it down.
It is so.
Okay, so you guys all want to make your way there?
Yeah, cut
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, you're at the Welching Weasel, and a waiter comes up to you, shows you to a table where there's a hookah standing in the middle. Do you guys want to order drinks?
Yes, I'll have one Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster, please.
All right.
Yeah, I'll order whatever is good and local, based upon the waiter's recommendations.
Xanathar?
I think he's hungry. Do they have any sort of like noodles or specials or anything like that?
Yeah, they'll have bar snacks, which will be dried. We'll say dried noodles with like very heavily spiced.
Yeah, some of the spice noodles, and he'll just order some sort of drink.
Yeah. Okay. He brings you all the stuff that you want. As he sets down the drink in front of Kalia, he says, "There you are, Sahiba Beeblebrox."
I do the finger guns at him.
He gives you a wink, and then he says, "Anything else I could do for you?"
Not for me, old son.
We're actually looking for somebody specific. Can you tell us if he is here?
Maybe.
Offside, what was his name again?
Bassam Wahid.
We are looking for a gentleman named Bassam.
Bassam. He's always here. He gestures over to a table where there's a guy sat by himself, nursing a drink. That's Bassam over there.
Good looking out, Charlotte. You two are often better journalists than I am.
Excellent, thank you. We may go pay him a visit once we finish our meal.
Okay. You finish your meal, and then he's still there nursing a drink, this chap.
I don't know if we want to talk about exactly how we're going to approach him. Whether, like, we know he's into gambling, we know that he's into drinking, because he's drinking, sort of. Do we want to make a plan to go in and deal with him to get the information we need?
Yeah, might be good to plan out one thing in our miserable lives.
I think Xanathar agrees, but he's gonna like hang back, like towards like the entrance area or something. Like if you're gonna go up and confront him.
Okay. You notice that this guy's got he's dressed in a tank top with a symbol on it. He's quite skinny, but he's got heavily tattooed arms, and he's got very long, lank hair dangling down around his face.
What is his job again? Sorry.
They didn't say. They just said that he's got a bit of a thing for gambling.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's on the station in an official capacity, you're kind of thinking this must be like his day off.
He's he's having a day off and also a massive off day.
Anyway, that's what he looks like.
Sexy.
Okay, well, I think that we should probably get up. At least Kalia and myself will get up and go move towards this table. Is there 2 extra chairs sitting by that we can pull up and
Oh yeah.
just plop ourselves in front of them?
Is there a pillar nearby?
Pillar? No, this is kind of more like I think like a Middle Eastern bazaar.
Okay.
And like you kind of step inside it to kind of like a hole in the wall kind of cafe. Not really pillars as such, just tables and walls.
Is there a wall nearby?
Yeah, there's a wall nearby.
I lean against the wall in what I imagine to be a sultry fashion. I spill a little bit of my drink on my top, and I waggle my eyebrows like 2 caterpillars doing the steeplechase behind my shades.
Okay, I was going to ask if your shades were still on and your mask.
I say, going my way.
He kind of looks bleary-eyed up at you. What'd you say?
Yeah, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Kalia. I just saw you over here on your own. I thought there's a man who can rock a tank top.
Rock a tank top. What do you want?
Ignore her. I've been told that you are a gambler of sorts, and we're in town just for a short amount of time. Oh, shit.
She spilled a drink.
Yeah, as I stumbled to get my drink picked up off the floor and continue with, we heard that you're into gambling, and it's something that I've always wanted to learn, and I was kind of hoping that you could teach me.
You want to learn gambling from me? Saiba, you don't know what you're asking. I am shit at gambling.
Well, then at that point, it's being taught what not to do.
How to lose with style.
Well, I'm not in any mood to be teaching anyone anything right now. I'm just getting shit-faced here. You care to buy me a drink?
That we can do.
Yeah, I'll flag down the waiter and, what do you want, Dreamboat?
I'm just drinking the local kohol. It tastes like piss, but hey, it gets the job done, right?
I turn to the friendly waiter and I say, 1 bottle of your finest piss, my good man.
He kind of sniffs at you and brings a bottle of kohol over and tops up Bassam's glass.
Cheers, my dears.
Thank you.
I raise my glass.
He raises his glass and gives you a little wink, and he's kind of rocking in place very, very gently, and then he takes a sip and sets it down.
Yeah, it does not taste very good, does it?
But it does the trick.
That it does, yes.
You seem to be a little off from what I can see. Not that I can see much since we've only just met.
Off?
Is there something bothering you?
Just debts, you know. And you'd like to gamble like me and you're not good at it. Well, you end up owing money to everyone.
Well, then, if you won't teach me how to gamble, then I feel that we could come to an agreement to help you clear off those debts.
He instantly kind of squints his eyes at you.
What? Whoa. Nobody wants help for nothing. You want to pay me some money? Fine. But what do you want for it?
We need a contact.
You need a contact. Well, I know everybody, so maybe we can work something out, ne?
That is exactly what we want to hear. We need to get to the research station.
The research station. Oh, that's a funny one. That one is locked up tight. Tighter than the Lady of Tears, if you know what I mean.
Well, you did say you know everybody. All we need is a name and a number.
A name and a number. What's it worth to you? I could give you a name and a number. Yeah. I could give you even more if the price is right.
Well, how about spending a night with this fancy woman right beside me?
Mood.
I'm gonna creep up next to his shoulder, and the thing about Kalia is every morning she applies a face mask soaked with her own urea to ward off Futrox gas, which is something she is the preserve of conspiracy theorists.
Yep, all in her head. Okay.
So there's a very heady smell when he turns to the side and sees my face directly right by his face.
Ooh. Oh. I have to say, not the most stunning of women. No offense, Aiba, but I think we're good. I think money is more what I'm interested in.
You don't know what you're missing.
I'm missing Burr, friend. Yeah, Burr.
One night with me and I'd turn you into roadkill, my friend.
That doesn't sound very passionate.
It depends on your outlook.
Listen. I don't want to bed you. No offense, Saiba. You smell like piss. But I can give you a contact. I can give you a name. I can even maybe get you down on the moon. But it's gonna cost you.
Name your price.
1 million Burr.
I start to stand up and get ready to walk away.
I'm joking. I just wanted to see your reaction. 1 million Burr. That would be nice though, ne? Let's say, if you just want a name and a number, I can do that for... I'm gonna roll dice here. Let's see how much he wants. We'll let fate decide. He's gonna want 2d6,000 Burr. For 8,000 Burr, I can give you a name and a number of a contact down on the base. But for double that amount, I can give you the codes that are needed to say that you're coming to the base for resupplying. I know all the codes because I resupply. That sounds good, doesn't it?
It sounds very good. I'm going to pull my shades down to the end of the bridge of my nose, and I'm going to give Luna a significant look, and that's going to be her only warning. I'm going to take advantage of my position very, very close to this individual, Bassam. I'm going to pull something out of my pocket and press it into the small of his back, and I'm going to say very quietly in his ear, "Do you feel that? That's an accelerated pistol. Let's take a walk, flyboy."
He kind of jerks slightly as you press it into his back.
Kimada? Oh, not this again.
And then he stands up with you. And that is a good place to leave it for this week. Thanks for listening to Mud and Blood Plays Coriolis. Our players can be found on Twitter. Adam is playing Kalia and has the handle Adam Attley, Attley. Charlotte is playing Luna and has the handle Foxfire22. That's fire spelled Fyre. Nathan is playing Xanathar and has the handle Script and Verse. Our intro and outro music is the track Valraven by Danish musician Danheim. Ambient music is from the Emmy Award-winning Tabletop Audio. Middle Eastern tracks are from the album Desert Sands by Derek and Brandon Fichter, available on Bandcamp, and are used with permission. Join us next week for the next installment of Fear and Loathing in the Third Horizon.